My friends, how are you? It is absolutely fantastic to see you for yet another video. And the world's greatest deal maker is up to his normal shenanigans again, basically lighting the house on fire, causing all the people to panic and worry about how they're going to keep their business, or in this case, farm, alive. And then he comes back and he shows us a deal that was worse than when it started and takes a victory lap and talks about what a great deal maker he is. It's Donald Trump in action once again, my friends. And I know we've been talking a lot about the farmers because it's such an interesting thing. The very people that heard Donald Trump say all the horrible things that he was going to do, but most importantly, the very same farmers that watched as Donald Trump bankrupted them in his first term using the same method, trade wars with China, for some reason thought that Donald Trump was going to be good for the economy in the second go around with a Donald Trump presidency. And I gotta be honest, I do not know where this mindset comes from, my friends. I have no fucking clue how any of this happens. You know, we see it with the farmers who lost their ass last time Donald Trump was in office, had to be bailed out by the government. I see it a lot as a truck driver. I see it a lot with the other truck drivers who for some reason remember the Donald Trump years as like the glory days of trucking, where all we did was make money. But what actually happened is, for a very brief time, we made a lot of money because Donald Trump mismanaged COVID, and then the crash after it bankrupted literally hundreds of thousands of truck drivers out there, especially in the owner-operator part of the business. So I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'm absolutely confused by it, but I find the farmer aspect of this to be one of the most interesting things I think that I have ever witnessed. I don't know if I like find joy in it, maybe a little bit. I understand how scary it is that the farmers in America are losing their farms, are going to file bankruptcies once again. I understand all that, but I also, on the other hand, see the need for Americans to start making better fucking decisions. And when Donald Trump launches attacks on his own voter base, I don't necessarily want to see them suffer, but I also want to see them learn a lesson from the stupid fucking decisions they make. I'm between a rock and a hard place, my friends. But I've been talking a lot about the farmers, of course. I remember recently, it was the Arkansas farmers that went out to their town halls and they were raising hell. They were pissed off about everything that was going on. And I remembered covering that. And I apparently pushed the buttons of some weirdo in Arkansas on that very day when I got an angry comment saying that I better never, ever talk about Arkansas in that manner again. And even better yet, I better never show my face in Arkansas after making fun of those poor farmers, because now the entire state of Arkansas is pissed off at me, is what this commenter said. And I don't know how to say this, but I don't really care if the entire state of Arkansas is pissed off at me. I'm not blood related. They weren't going to fuck me anyways. That was bad. I don't know if I like that joke or if I dislike it, but to all my blue dots in Arkansas, I apologize for that joke. To the rest of the cousin fuckers, I'm not entirely sorry about what I just said, alright? But it's been such a fascinating development as the farmers are screaming for help. We need help. We don't want bailouts though. We want our markets back. You got farmers on the news actually crying about what is happening, and it's baffling. The one that I'm pointing to in particular, I believe, is actually a Democrat. I don't remember his name, but that dude was in tears on the news, and I felt bad for that guy. But for the vast majority of, the Americans that went out and voted for Donald Trump, but especially the farmers, you knew how destructive he was the first time around. What the fuck were you thinking? I don't get it at all. But to get to the point of the video, I'm still thinking about that cousin fucking joke. It's still sitting there right there in my head. I'll try to be serious through the rest of this video. If I can. I'm not sure that I have the ability sometimes, my friends. Anyways, Donald Trump and the, lunatics around him have announced that they have made a great trade deal, with China, and the farmers have now been saved, my friends. And I know I'm a few days late on this. The last few videos have just been me airing my grievances. I've been frustrated with the whole MAGA movement, and I've basically just been bitching about that for the last few days instead of following the news videos. I've just been angry, grumpy in my truck, just fuming, going, I'm real pissed off at these Trump supporters. And that's where the last few days have come from. On a quick side note, I will get back to the point, but we got a lot of elections going on, and I believe that it is my duty to remind people, please vote in whatever your local elections are right now. I'm an over-the-road trucker, and I was able to get my ballot in, though it was kind of boring where I live. There wasn't anybody really on the ballot except like a school board administrator or something like that. But we had some ballot measures for feeding the kids in school, and since I live in a red district, I figured I'd cast that vote to feed the children, because if I know anything about Republicans, they fucking hate that. So definitely make sure you're doing that. And also to my California viewers, you don't need me to tell you this, but this is so goddamn important to vote on that Prop 50 to go against the Republicans' gerrymandering of the states. By the end of tomorrow, I'm hoping that I can be proud of a victory by Gavin Newsom in California, getting out there and do the right thing. So back to the fucking point. The Trump regime has been obviously devastating the fucking farmers in this country once again. And if you're not convinced that that's true, all you have to do is ask Scott Bessent, who apparently, according to Scott Bessent, is also a soybean farmer. Did you see that fucking clown on the news last week? He was asked about all the damage being done to soybean farmers, and he's sitting there going, well, you may not know this about me, but I'm also a soybean farmer myself. Oh, fuck off, Scott Bessent. No, the fuck you're not. This level of gaslighting coming out of the Trump regime these days is just absolutely fucking absurd. Scott Bessent is not a soybean farmer, and sitting there in his suit with his hair done up all pretty and his baby face all shaved up real nice and not a callus on his fucking hands, telling us that he's a soybean farmer is the biggest line of bullshit that I've ever heard. I was actually going to start another level of channel memberships for, like, I don't know, $2.99, $3.99 a month, that was just called soybean farmer. Like, if Scott Bessent can say he's a soybean farmer, then like people could pay $2.99 a month for a channel membership, and they're also a soybean farmer because we fucking said so. That's why. But I decided not to do that because economically everybody's kind of struggling, possibly losing access to Snap, and possibly having their he's done. Whoa, sorry about that. There was a guy unloading my trailer, and literally 15 minutes to unload the entire damn thing. I don't think I've ever had that happen in my life. But bro needs to chill. Like, bro, you get paid by the hour. Slow it down a little bit. Milk those billionaires for a little bit of money. I support that. But anyways, I didn't want to do that channel membership as a joke because of all the financial trouble a lot of Americans are going to go through soon. So I decided not to do that. And you'll have to forgive me. I'm out of breath. I just ran to the back of my trailer to close my doors, and it's windy out there and kind of knocked the wind out of me, but I got shit to do, so I had to come back and finish this video up. And you guys know me, I'm a raving lunatic, so I'll probably pass out from like not getting oxygen to my brain as soon as I'm done recording this video. But that's just the way it goes. Let's talk about this bullshit trade deal with China that Donald Trump and Scott Bessent are touting as a victory for the American people. Because it's important, the devil is always in the details with these shitheads, and nothing is ever as good as they say that it is. So what we have basically is an agreement. Kinda. It's not really a trade deal. It's another one of these frameworks of a trade deal. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is like obligated, is that the word I'm looking for, to the other party. Nobody has to do a goddamn thing in this trade deal. But China is saying that they will buy up to 12 billion tons, 12 billion. It's not so much the million or billion that matters here. Excuse me, the million or billion that matters here. It's more about the actual number. So we'll worry about the numbers. If it's million or billion is a whole other fucking thing. But they're going to buy, let's say million, just because it makes it easier for me. 12 million, up to 12 million tons of soybean this year from the soybean farmers, right? That's sort of the, hey, we just might buy that sort of thing, which is, I think, in my opinion, might be a little bit too late. The farmers are already worried about if they're going to be able to pay the bills. We're already, I think, going to see bankruptcies with the farmers. China's not saying that they're gonna buy it. They're saying, well, we could if we felt like it. And Donald Trump lowered the tariffs a little bit on Chinese products, but kept in place the 10% fentanyl tariff. And we all need to be aware of why this fentanyl tariff is even in all of this shit. That's Donald Trump's effort to trick the Supreme Court and convince them that it is an emergency, which gives him the power to impose the tariffs. If that whole fentanyl part wasn't in all of this, then it would have been shut down, I would like to think, a long fucking time ago, right? But that's just there, just so Donald Trump can like try to trick the Supreme Court. That's the only reason for it. So the farmers this year are going to sell basically jack shit to China. They might get a little bit of money. They might sell a little bit of soybean, but it's nowhere near what it normally would be, right? And then in this deal, over the next, I believe it's 3 years, China is saying basically, once again, it's possible that we'll buy soybean from America. And they're saying up to 25 million tons of soybean from America. Now, like I said, the devil is in the details. If you're paying attention to what these shitheads are doing, you'll find that this is not a better deal, because most people out there are saying that that it's normal for China to buy about 27 million tons of soybean from America on a yearly basis. I have also seen estimates as high as 31 to 36 million tons of soybean. So when they come back and say, we've made a deal where China said they might possibly purchase 25 million pounds of, you get the point, tons of soybean from America, they have effectively, at minimum, cut it by 2 million or billion tons. Remember, I forgot if it's million or billion, but the point is that it's a loss. It's an overall net loss to the farmers in America. And like I said, it's not a concrete thing where China committed and said, we are buying that. They are saying, you know, we might fucking buy it. There's no like anything like legally binding, no contracts, no legislation, no nothing at all. It was another one of those things where the world leaders know how to play Donald Trump. He's a fucking baby. Tell him that he accomplished something, and he'll go tell America that he accomplished something. Meanwhile, China has already agreed to buying soybeans from Brazil and also Argentina, the country that we just bailed out, and now we want to import their beef and they can sell their soybeans to China. Basically, China doesn't need our market as much as they maybe needed before, as much as they depended on America before to produce those soybeans. So this whole thing is not even a fucking deal. It's 100% almost like a handshake type of deal. Like, yeah, we could go ahead and do that. Nothing signed, nothing. It's absolutely fucking nothing. And even in the terms of what they're trying to tell us is the deal is a net loss to the farmers in America. It's absolutely absurd how these guys spend all this time telling us that they're doing great things, and once they burn everything to the fucking ground, they come back with something that is absolutely fucking worse than where we started, which is why the Democrats right now are refusing to take the offer of just vote to open the government, and will negotiate about healthcare later. Fucking healthcare later from the Republicans? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, we got the ACA right now. What's the Republican health care plan going to be? I can only imagine that they come back and say, here's our healthcare plan. Once you get sick and it's going to be a problem and you need to go to the doctor, we just shoot you in the fucking head, and then you don't have to pay any medical bills anymore. And do you see how that's better? Do you see how we have come up with the ultimate healthcare plan here in America? And because they are the Nazis that they are, that actually sounds like it could be their healthcare plan. I wouldn't be shocked. I just came up with that off the top of my head, but it wouldn't shock me if that was the healthcare plan that they brought to the American people. And sort of as a final note, I don't know how long this video even is, because dude finished unloading my trailer in 15 fucking minutes, so I could have been talking for a half hour already. I don't really know anymore. I've lost track. But China has agreed also, and like I said, this isn't an official agreement. This is all a like shut up Donald Trump kind of fucking deal. That's all it is. Where they said every year we'll release like a certain amount of rare earth minerals to America. And that was the thing that caused Donald Trump to throw a temper tantrum most recently about China. So basically every year, Donald Trump has to go grovel at the feet of China and say, hey, can we have some more rare earth minerals? And they can evaluate, has Donald Trump been a good boy for this last year? Should we send rare earth minerals to America? Or has Donald Trump been a real asshole yet again? And should we tell them to go fuck themselves? This is not a deal. This is barely a framework of a deal. And the deal that they said they made, that they are fucking proud of, is worse than where we started. And I had heard, this is my closing note for real this time, I had heard there was some sort of agreement with China now gaining access to something to do with our technology, semiconductors, chips, something like that, as part of the deal to reduce the amount of soybean that they're buying from us. I don't really fucking know. But what I do know is I went looking for that information and I specifically couldn't find it. And that's why in this video, I don't have a rant or rave or tangent about it, but that information may be out there. You guys may know more about it than I do. I specifically wasn't able to find that piece of the puzzle to give you an opinion on that. But if you do know what it's about, or you want to copy and paste an article into the comments so I can read about it, feel free to do so, because I just was not having any luck finding it. Anyways, I'm done with my tangent for the day. I'm surprisingly not out of breath anymore. I think I'm gonna survive this, but I do need to get back to work. Love you guys. Bye now.